So you're probably familiar with the saying, the 5 people you spend the most time with are the people that you become. Well, I know I've heard that before and I was like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. You're like your friends, you like the same stuff, you spend time together, blah, blah, blah. But I've realized it goes a lot deeper than that. Not only do you spend a lot of shared time together, experiences, memories, this and that, but on a physical, mental, emotional, and energetic level, you guys are like weaving through each other's lives. And when you spend a lot of time with somebody, whether you like it or not, they do have a lot of influence over you. And just by the fact that you're in such close proximity, your energy, your emotions, your thoughts rub off on each other and you become like each other. You adapt each other's habits, whether they're positive or negative. So you really have to ask yourself this question: would you be comfortable switching lives with any and all of the 5 people you spend the most time with? If the answer is no, then this video is for you. Hi, my name is Julia. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. So this video is all about noticing the red flags in negative or toxic, unhealthy friendships and how to end them in a way that's peaceful and in integrity. Because not all friendships are meant to last forever. Some people are just here for a season, a reason, or a lesson. And that is okay. Not everybody is going to be our life people, and not everyone is meant to be in our lives forever. So I really want to give you some signs to look for and how to know when it's time to end a friendship, because you can end a friendship without it necessarily being a toxic friendship or having a huge blowout. You could just realize, oh, like we're growing apart, we're not aligned anymore, and I don't really think this friendship is for me, and you can let it end without it being a big deal. So I will touch on that as well. But before we can even address the unhealthy or toxic friendships, we need to address ourselves and really take a good hard look at how we are showing up for ourselves, for our friends, for the people in our life, before even looking at all the external people. Because the most important relationship you will ever have in your life is with you first. So if you don't have a healthy relationship with yourself, it's going to be very hard to have a healthy relationship with others. So the most important thing you can do is know yourself. And throughout life, you're going to grow and change. You're going to be learning and getting to know yourself every day. But with all that being said, we really need to take the attention off of the other people and put it on ourselves. If you've never done that before, this is the time to do that. This is the time to take a break from people and take some time to reflect on you and what you... Sorry, I'm looking at this bird. It's like a big bird. I lost my train of thought, but it's time to reflect on yourself and what you want. So I made a whole video last week about that, how to figure out what you want out of friendship and how to attract friends that really align with you. So if you haven't watched that video yet, go click the I, watch that, then come back to here. But if you want a video on what I do to get to know myself better and how I became my own best friend, give this video a big thumbs up to let me know that you want that. The reason why it's so important for you to spend time alone and to try to understand yourself is because you'll realize as you grow that your needs and wants change, and you may find that you're no longer aligned with the people that you spend the most time with. And as you run into resistance with those people, you're going to realize that you can't change them, you can't force them to be on this journey with you, and the best thing that you can do is to start to distance yourself slowly but surely. Sometimes that does mean cutting people completely out of your life, and then other times it might mean compartmentalizing the friendship to serve a more productive purpose. So you know, okay, that's my friend that I like to go to vegan coffee shops with. We align on enjoying the same foods and beverages, and we have good conversation when we're there, but that is my friendship for that. Whereas I have another friendship that is specifically the person who is my accountability partner for working out and fitness and going on walks. Maybe those 2 people are the same people, maybe they're 2 different people. You just have to really use your discernment to figure out if a friendship could be better served in a different way. And then you don't have to throw out the friendship completely. You have your people that you go to for support when it comes to this type of thing, and then you have other friendships and people that you go to when it comes to another type of thing. So that way you're not just like throwing the baby out with the bathwater in these friendships. You're actually able to have them serve you and the other person in a positive way where you guys align. Now, you won't be able to come to that alignment with all friendships, but there's a lot of people in your life that you can find a mutually beneficial agreement with for different avenues of life that you both have interest in. But that won't work for everyone. So some people who exhibit the red flags that we're gonna go over in a second can't go on with you and will have to be slowly cut out of your life's picture. Because we're human beings, we're social creatures, and we crave community and to feel like we belong somewhere. But so many times we'll find ourselves in places with people who don't fully understand us and don't even care to. That's no place to be. I know there's places in life that you have to go to, like school, or maybe you need to go to a certain job to make money, and you're not gonna get along with everyone there, and that's okay, because those are places where it's like a big diverse bunch of people who may not really want to be there, but they're there because they either need to be, or this is the best option that they have right now to be there. And you might be in that boat and you feel like nobody aligns with you. It's okay to be a loner. It's okay to not be a part of the pack, not be a part of the group, as long as you know that you are working towards finding your people at another point in time. So like, let's take school for instance. You're not going to be there forever. If it's high school, it's 4 years. If it's college, it's 4 years, and then you're done. And then you can go off and find your people, or outside of school, you can find your people. But if you feel like you're trying to force yourself to fit in and become like the people around you just so you feel like you have friends or people that like you, it's not worth it. It's not worth trying to become something you're not to get people to like you. That's not real friendship, and those friendships won't last anyway. So if you're in a situation like that, sometimes it's best to keep to yourself and keep your energy kind of self-centered, so you're not getting off track with the goals and dreams that you want, misplacing and dispersing your energy into different avenues. So it is okay to be alone sometimes, like I said in the beginning, to really just find yourself. If you are in a situation like that, that is the perfect time to take to yourself, to really get to know yourself and figure out what you want. So then when you do have the opportunity to be around people of like-mindedness, you'll be ready, because you know yourself. You know what you need, you want, your boundaries, your desires, this, that, and whatever. You'll already be prepared for those people. And just know, when you let go of toxic people or negative people in your life, or people that just don't align with you anymore, new people will come to fill those spaces. It might not be right away, it might not be today, tomorrow, next week, or even next month, but eventually those spaces will be filled by the right people who really do align with you, if you keep an open mind to it and you follow your highest joy, the things that you are most passionate about. Now let's get into the types of people to avoid. So if you have any friends with these qualities, these are going to be the people that you want to cut out, or at the very least slowly distance yourself from. And if you run into these people and they give you these red flags in the beginning, they're going to be the people that you want to skirt away from and not build a friendship with. Number one, people that don't respect your boundaries. So those are the people that give you a bad reaction when you tell them the word no, or they try to guilt trip you with some sob story when you give them the word no. Those are people you definitely do not want to be friends with. They do not respect you or your boundaries clearly, and they're never going to, unless they do a bunch of inner work, and you're not going to wait around for that. We don't have time for that. Next are people that gossip and spread lies and rumors about you behind your back. That is a major no. Those are people that you don't even want to have in your life, period. I say cut them out. They're not worth it. People that make everything about them. It's not ideal, but sometimes you can find places for people like that in your life if they're serving a specific purpose that benefits them very much so, as well as benefiting you. But I'd say be careful about it and don't get too wrapped up in those people. People that are super negative, the woe is me type of people, like the people when you go to see them and hang out with them, complain the whole time. It's always a crisis in their life. There's always something going wrong. Even if it's a sunny day out and they got the perfect parking spot, they're complaining about the price of the parking. Like, they find the flaws in everything. They always look at the glass half empty. They're not super dangerous, but the reason we don't want to spend time with them is because that negative energy will rub off onto you, and then if you spend enough time with them, you might start seeing yourself focusing on the glass half empty as well, as opposed to being focused on the glass being half full. So they're not a huge danger that's gonna like cut you with a knife real hard, but they're like a slow burn that'll slowly contaminate your mind. So you really want to keep those people at a distance. The jealous friend that copies everything you do, and not just in a flattering way, but in a way that makes you feel icky. Yeah, that person is trying to be you. They're coming for your train. They're coming for your life, and they're gonna try to destroy your life and try to like rip your face off and put it on them, and you don't want that in your life. The people that give backhanded compliments. rude jokes, put downs, judgment, and unsupportiveness of any kind. They are going to yuck all of your yum. They're a no, hard no. So if you catch them telling lies, like little white lies here and there about things that are unnecessary, yeah, that's not good. Then you can't trust them. So any kind of deceitfulness, maybe they're not disrespecting you, but you hear them saying disrespectful stuff about other people, be careful, because if they can say that about other people to you, maybe other friends of theirs, then they're definitely willing to say that about you to other friends. So those are the little sneaky red flag giveaways of symptoms that are a more dangerous route. So if you catch those little oops moments of them not being honest or being disrespectful to others, just know it will come back around to you eventually and they need to be cut out. People that exclude you from activities, events, whatever it is, in a way that you know is meant to hurt you. You can always tell the difference between somebody unintentionally hurting you versus somebody doing something on purpose to hurt you. So let's say you have a friend group and this friend invites all the friends in the friend group except you, post about it on Instagram or whatever, knowing you're gonna see all the posts without inviting you. That was intentional and you should not be friends with them. So this list could go on all day and there are so many different examples that I'm sure you can come up with as well. Likely the people in your life that are making those examples are the people it's time to distance yourself from. Also, I just want to note, you can decide that you don't want to be friends with somebody anymore just because you don't feel aligned with them. And they don't have to do anything negative per se, like how I listed before. You could just realize that maybe you have different interests. Maybe you guys are both headed into different paths and directions. And it's okay to decide that you don't want to be friends with somebody anymore without them doing anything wrong to you or wrong in general. Outgrowing friendships is just a part of life, and I've outgrown so many friendships where nothing bad actually happened. We just over time developed different interests and peacefully went separate ways without it being a big deal. There was no like conversation of, oh my god, like you're becoming this person and I'm becoming this person, like blah 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 blah. No, it was just like, okay, like I'm just literally in this phase of my life, they're in their phase of their life. It's not really like we're consciously thinking about it, but then you look back and you're like, oh, we grew apart, but like nothing happened and it wasn't a big deal, you know? So that can happen too, and that usually is a better situation. But then there's people that you start to grow apart from that you don't want to grow apart from, and sometimes it is worth looking at, is there a way for us to salvage the friendship so that we can still be friends but in a way that's mutually beneficial, like I was saying before, where you can kind of like become friends in a certain aspect of life that you guys still align on, while maybe you don't align in other aspects and you're growing apart in other ways, but you can still kind of grow together in this specific aspect. Like let's say you have a friend that enjoys fitness in the same way you do, but you guys used to do everything together, but now you're interested in different things and you're both doing different things, but you still are aligned on the fitness stuff. Well, you can still be growing together in the fitness aspect and connect on that and be accountability partners and be supportive in that way, while you don't necessarily have to continue to do all the other things you used to do together. And if you can both communicate that peacefully and agree that it's okay with each other and adjust your expectations for the friendship, I don't see anything wrong with that. In fact, I think that's really great. So if you're able to salvage friendships in that type of way, that's a beautiful thing. It's sort of like the opposite of growing closer in a sense. Like, you know, when you have a friend that you meet maybe like in a class and then suddenly you realize you're aligned on so many things and then you want to do everything together because you guys are so similar. So it started with one topic and then it grew into many topics. Well, it's okay to go backwards. It doesn't necessarily mean the friendship is negative or bad or that you guys did anything wrong. It just means you are being really mature and finding a way to still benefit each other's lives and connect without forcing anything or running into that resistance with each other. Now for how to distance yourself from friends you no longer want to be close to or associated with, period. So many planes today, all the clouds went away. I'm getting distracted. When it comes to ending a friendship, it doesn't have to be some big blowout fight of, I don't want to be your friend anymore, F you, blah blah blah. You know, like we can be mature when it comes to ending friendships, and it doesn't have to be like awkward when you see each other around the town or if you have mutual friends. It doesn't have to be some awful, horrible thing. In fact, it really shouldn't be if it doesn't have to. Although I understand, like if somebody does something really messed up to you, it can be very hard to handle that in a mature way and communicate, hey, you really, you know, hurt me or did this thing that hurt me, whatever it is. It can be very hard hard to communicate that in a way that is calm and not an emotional explosion, but it's definitely worth it to try to go about doing it in the best way you can that is in integrity with your values and with respect. Just, if anything, if it's not for the other person, just for your peace of mind. So I feel like a natural consequence of growing apart is that you both slowly stop making time for each other, stop prioritizing time to see each other, to talk, this and that. And you might both do that at the same time when you're growing apart, but sometimes in an instance like this where you are deciding, okay, this person isn't for me anymore and I want to slowly distance myself, they're not thinking that. They're probably still thinking, oh, I'm gonna see this person this many times a week and do this thing and that thing. So you're the one choosing to grow apart while they don't even realize it. So it could be a little more jarring for them than it would if you guys were just naturally growing apart. But you can kind of simulate that natural growing apartness by deprioritizing that friendship. And by deprioritizing the friendship, I mean, you know, you make more plans with other people that you feel more aligned with. You make more plans for whatever your interests are, whether it's a new hobby, a new business you're starting, a new career path you're studying for, whatever you're doing, you just prioritize those things over the friendship. So that when it comes to that person reaching out to you to make plans, you show your actions that you're not around anymore, so you don't make plans to see them nearly as much. Maybe you want to slowly unfriendship them, uncouple. Maybe you still see them occasionally, but you lower the amount of times you see them on a regular basis. So let's say you were seeing them 3 times a week. And this is a person that's not like heavily toxic. This is just a person maybe that's very negative. So you would lower the amount of times you see them from 3 times a week to maybe once a week, to maybe once every 2 weeks, to maybe once a month, to maybe once every few months, until it just naturally dissipates and you don't see each other anymore. That's one way of doing it. If they're the type of person that can just take the hint of, oh, this person's not really making time for me, I'm not really gonna make time for them. If they can take the hint and do that, you're good. That's an easy way to just grow apart without causing a big fuss or burning bridges, because you don't want to burn bridges that don't need to be burned. And I will say in some instances, maybe with a very toxic person, you do need to burn that bridge, and that's okay too. But in a situation where it's more of like you have a friend who's not really doing their inner work, they're staying stagnant, negative, this and that, you don't necessarily need to burn that bridge, but you do need to distance yourself. In the case where the person, whether they're just a negative person in your life or they're actually a toxic person, if they won't stop reaching out to you and don't get the message, and you really want to explain why you no longer want to be friends with them, you can have a conversation or give them an explanation, but you have to be okay with whatever their response is, and you need to hold firm on your boundaries and your decision to step away from the friendship. So if they try to guilt trip you or manipulate you or convince you into staying their friend, you cannot bite on that. You basically have to be a broken record in saying that, no, I am not going to do XYZ, I'm not going to continue to see you, I'm not going to continue to contact you, like, it's done. You have to be firm with that. And you can be firm while still being kind. You don't have to like stoop to their level and start, calling them names and this and that. And you don't even need to really explain yourself, but you can't bend or fall back into the pattern if you do go and have a conversation with them about the friendship ending. It's really important for you to use your discernment with this type of thing and do what is best for you while still being respectful and integrity to them. As you clear out your negative habits, toxic behaviors, and limiting beliefs, the people in your life that hold those same beliefs will have to be cleared out with them unless they're actively evolving and changing with you. Because if you don't clear out the people that hold those same beliefs, they're going to keep pulling you back into the cycle, and they will keep you stagnant at a lower level that you no longer need to be at because you've evolved past it. So you can kind of liken it to school. Sometimes there are students that really excel in school and they can't stay in the same grade as the other students in their grade because they excelled to the grade above or the grade above that. So then they're with the older kids and they're learning what they're learning, but they're no longer with the people who were in their grade because they excelled past it. So it's similar in that aspect. Because if you're at a 5th grade level and you're hanging out with a bunch of 1st graders, you guys won't really have much in common anymore, and the 1st graders are not going to understand what you know as a 5th grader, so you can't bring them up with you. You're going to have to go back down to their level, and you might forget your 5th grade level knowledge when you're interacting with 1st graders. It's kind of like that. So as tough as it is to let go of that old version of you and the life that you had with those people, if they're not going to the 5th grade with you, you can't bring them to the 5th grade with you. But luckily, in the same way that there are tons of students in school, there are tons of people in the world. So when you reach that 5th grade level, yeah, the 1st graders aren't going to be with you in the 5th grade, but there's going to be other 5th graders there that you can now become friends with. So as I was saying, as you grow, some of those people will grow with you and some will grow apart. Others may grow apart to come back later. So let's say you accelerate to the 5th grade and you leave all the 1st graders behind, but there was another person that you left behind in the 1st grade, and when you enter the 6th grade, they accelerated too, and now they're meeting back up with you in the 6th grade. It would be like that. But you had to let that friend that you had in the 1st grade go completely when you went to the 5th grade, and they met up with you in the 6th grade on their own terms, on their own volition. So you can't force anyone to grow with you. You must let people go, let people live their lives, let them use their free will, and things will play out just the way that it's meant to be. And if some of those people meet up with you again when you reach college and you reconnect then you reconnect then. But if those people end up accelerating and meeting you later at a different level, then they meet you later at a different level, but you can't force anyone to accelerate with you. Remember, the most important thing you can do is choose yourself at the end of the day and prioritize your mental, emotional, and physical health. Not every connection is meant to last a lifetime, and that's more than okay. In fact, that's just a part of life. And that's all I have today. I love you. Bye!